Hey guys, welcome back, and welcome to a very, very special video. So, everyone has that one game that they play, and it kind of changes their perception of what a video game can be. That one game that sort of transcends just entertainment and really proves itself to be a true work of art. You know, there's that game that just you show it to everyone else and they play it and it changes, their perception as well. I can think of a few offhand. For some it was Metal Gear Solid. For some it was The Last of Us. For some it was Half-Life. I mean, there are those games that just, they're not like the other games. They may exist in a genre, but they do it in a way that just blows you away completely. And I played those games, and they are true masterpieces, but they merely reinforce what another game did for me. And that game was Shenmue. Metal Gear Solid was first, but again, that exists in like a stealth action genre. It really showed me that a video game can really just be more entertaining, if not more entertaining, than a movie, than a really good movie. I mean, it was. There's something about playing as the character, going through epic shit that just, I don't know. It's more immersive, obviously, but it's more than that. You feel sort of this just deep connection to what's happening in the story. But Metal Gear Solid was a PlayStation 1 game, and it wasn't until the Sega Dreamcast came out that I got to play a game that, to this day, in many ways, still hasn't been surpassed by any other game. And that game is the one you're looking at now, Shenmue. Now, if any of you watch clips or just video of Shenmue, you may be thinking, well, what's so different about this one? Why is it so special? Well, I'll tell you why. This game really, not only did it do a lot of things that are kind of staples of like in-depth RPGs and open world games, not only did it do it first, but Shenmue is not a game you can put in a specific genre. You know what I mean? Even GTA has a genre. It's an open world, do whatever you want kind of game. And Metal Gear Solid, stealth action, Half-Life, it's a first-person shooter. But again, just those genres don't do the game justice. It stands above the rest. Shenmue stands above all other games in that it's many games at once. Yeah, it's QTEs, which I know a lot of people hate now, but Shenmue really put that on the map, and it did a lot of other things. A lot of times when I play a game like Heavy Rain or Until Dawn or any of the Telltale games, those are great games, but they're only interactive movies. There's so many times I'm just like, I wish it was more of a game. Like, I enjoy the deep storylines, the emotional storylines. It's just roller coasters of just, you get really invested in the story, but at the end of the day, you're playing the game to get to the next series of interactive cutscenes. And that's not to diminish those games in any way, but Shenmue kind of spoiled me because I have played a game that was more than just an interactive movie. It was Shenmue, and no one's really done it the same way since. And yet a lot of games have borrowed heavily from Shenmue. I mean, Shenmue was the first game with its own, time and weather system. I mean, not only that, but you could talk to literally every NPC you see walking around. I mean, yeah, some of them don't have much to say at all, but talking to people is a vital part of the game. It sort of occurs like real life. I mean, the whole premise of the game is that your father is murdered in front of you by this mysterious Chinese triad dude, and the first thing you do is try to find out more about who that guy was and who the people were that were with him, and just that's how it starts off. And so, you know, in real life, if that happened and you were determined to get revenge and hunt down this dude, what would you do? You'd go around talking to people you know. Hey, did you see those guys that day? I mean, that's literally how the game starts out. And so talking to people is a very vital part of it. And these aren't just, you know, NPC people that are just going to sit there at the same place all the time at all times of the day. They all have their own daily routines. Their shops close at certain times. They're open at certain times. Bars are only open at night. And, you know, it's not like Elder Scrolls. You don't have like a wait feature. That didn't come until Shenmue II. So in Shenmue II, yeah, you can actually wait it out. But in the first game, you kind of had to find shit to do. While you were waiting for something. If you were waiting for a guy who only appears at night, I mean, you kind of had to do that. But, you know, Shenmue did it all first. And this game really, it's impressive what a Dreamcast game was able to pull off. I mean, the Dreamcast itself was a pretty impressive system. I mean, it kind of sucks that it died the way it did, but it really was impressive. And I want you to, and just to kind of give you a sort of perspective of when this, you know, came out, the Dreamcast was the first next generation console of like the PlayStation 2, GameCube, Xbox era. The Sega Dreamcast came out first, so this was like the most powerful system to come out after the Nintendo 64. And the PlayStation 2 wasn't quite around yet. I mean, so when you think about that, all these different NPCs with their own routines, with their own dialogue recorded, there is, unlike Yakuza, which is kind of the spiritual successor, it's not quite fair to call it that, but you could see a lot of elements of Shenmue in the Yakuza games, and even the Yakuza game make you read walls of text instead of hearing voice. No, Shenmue, every line of dialogue is spoken. And, you know, the voice acting is kind of weird because I can't quite call it bad, but it's not great either. It's you could tell some of the voices are kind of, the voice actors are kind of having fun with their lines, but you know, you get used to it after a while. Yeah, the voice acting is crazy, but it doesn't. It's not like Resident Evil 1996 voice acting where it's just grating against your ear after a while. No, it's decent. It does the job it's supposed to do, and because this game is the way it is, you really feel like you meet Ryo's friends. I mean, Ryo Hazuki, the main character, who, by the way, was based on Akira from Virtua Fighter. Shenmue was created by Yu Suzuki, creator of Virtua Fighter, and quite a lot of old badass Sega games like Hang On and Space Harrier and things like that. And in fact, those old games are playable in the arcades in Yokosuka, where Ryo lives in this game. And there's also arcade machines in the second game as well. But yeah, Yu Suzuki had this thought. He actually wanted to make a Virtua Fighter RPG, and so the main character was going to be the main character of Virtua Fighter, which was Akira. And it started off that way, and then eventually kind of took a life of its own, and Akira actually became an original character, Ryo Hazuki, and he was actually planning to release it on the Sega Saturn, but it didn't come out in time. It was toward the end of the Saturn's life. And there is actual footage of the Saturn build of Shenmue, and it's fucking impressive as well, because, you know, you're looking at a game where the character's lips are moving, and I know that sounds like a given, but not back then. No, I mean, the PlayStation 1, I mentioned in my Secret of Mana video, you know, Lara Croft and the PlayStation Tomb Raider, you know, she'd bob her head, that's how you knew she was talking. I mean, that's how most games did it. But back then on the Sega Saturn, that build of Shenmue, that their characters' lips were moving, and their eyes would, you know, their brows would furrow, and they would make little facial expressions. It was nuts to see. And it obviously carried over to the Dreamcast version of Shenmue, and it just, you know, I know you've maybe had a few friends, some of you out there who've played Shenmue, and they tell you about it, and it just sounds, I don't know, it sounds too distant. I know it probably does, but they're always raving about it. They're always talking about how great it is. That's because it fucking is. Okay? Part of the reason I'm making this video is because I found out last week that the Shenmue I and II collection, remastered, was available, and I found out by watching It's a Gundam's channel. Yeah. Pretty hilarious dude. But he made a video that wasn't even related to Shenmue. It was something else, and he was playing Shenmue while talking, and like...
Are you alone?
And at first I thought it was just plain old Shenmue, but then I realized... And he was playing Shenmue 1. And then I realized that looks really good. That looks better than it did on the Dreamcast. And then I noticed that the font, the subtitle font, was different than it used to be. And I was like, holy shit, is the Shenmue collection out already? And so I go to the PlayStation Store, and lo and fucking behold, there it is. And I'm like, wow, Sega, your marketing sucked. How did I not know that Shenmue 1 and 2 were out already? Why didn't I see a trailer on YouTube, or why didn't I see that, like, in the PlayStation Store? And that, to me, it fucking sucks, because I want everyone who missed out on Shenmue to fucking get a chance to play it, and so you can see what all the big fuss is about. Shenmue 3 was announced back in 2015, and those of us who played Shenmue and were beloved and were just fans of that beloved series, you know, we waited 15 years, and now it's been longer. It's 2018 now, and we're getting it finally next year. And so now's your chance to see what all the fuss is about. Play Shenmue 1 and 2 because they're out. They are masterpieces. This game will change your life. That's not hyperbole. That's not me exaggerating. It literally will fucking change your life. This game is... The hype is real. The hype is real, and this is one of the greatest games ever fucking made. I shit you not. There is nothing like it. Okay, I told you about the QTEs, and you're seeing the gameplay now, but it's more than that. I mean, you get into fights, and it uses the Virtual Fighter engine, and you write down in your journal where you need to go next, and
that's enough.
You have to live through it. There's no other game like it. Later on, I would play Mass Effect, and Mass Effect was... I've always said to my friends, kind of half-jokingly, that Mass Effect was the only game to touch me as spiritually as Shenmue did. And I mean that, because Mass Effect, it gave you the choice. It gave you dialogue options, and a very customizable character who still talked. But it still didn't quite do what Shenmue did. And yet I love Mass Effect. I fucking love the shit out of Mass Effect. And for a Sega Dreamcast game that didn't give you dialogue options, but still made you kind of talk to everybody you could, it still surpasses many games. And like I said, lots of other games have borrowed from Shenmue, but no one's really done what Shenmue has done. And you just kind of have to experience it for yourself, because people describing it, I know, I mean, some of you, like I said, probably have friends who've played it, and maybe their description didn't quite do it justice. You literally have to play it to understand what it's all about. You really do. So this isn't even going to be one of my super long videos, because I can't just talk about this and expect you to understand. You really do have to play it for yourself. And I could leave it at this, but I do want, some of you to have a good time playing it, so I will offer a few tips when you first start out. Again, I've mentioned you have to talk to people. That is critical. But a lot of people don't know the answers to your questions. You are better off talking to people that Ryo seems to know. He'll say, Ine-san, or Fuku-san, or Nozomi, or Megumi. The people who Ryo knows, knows their names, you're better off asking them all the serious questions. You can talk to every NPC, like I said. On occasion, the rando or NPC will know what to do, but you are better off talking to people that Rio knows to get to the answers quicker. And these answers could be anywhere from, yeah, I know who did that thing that you're wondering about. It's this guy, or yeah, I know where that building is. It's over there. The answers you're looking for will be a lot of things throughout the game, and there will be times too when you have to go to really shady parts of the town, and people don't like you asking questions, so you gotta fight your way out of shit. I mean, it's literally like living a life, and it's so immersive that after playing it, I felt like I'd been to Japan. And this game also takes place in like 1986. So, it kind of gives you that vibe, but I mean, like, I feel like I've been to Yokosuka, which is a real place. And later in the second game, you go to Hong Kong and to the Kowloon area. And again, I feel like I've been there too. I mean, it gives you so much immersion. And again, a lot of the game is talking to people, so keep that in mind when you're playing. Also, I know some of you just have a hard time playing older games, but trust me, if you play this, don't give up easily, even if it seems boring. I don't see how it could, but I do know that there are some people with short attention spans, and after a while they'll be like, this is boring, I'm gonna go play the arcade, and then I'm gonna probably never play it again. No, just play it. Literally play it. You're gonna make assumptions that you can't talk to this person or that person, but you can. You can talk to literally every NPC. You're gonna make assumptions that you can't go into every door, but you pretty much can. There are a few doors that you can't, but like literally almost every door you see is a door you can enter and open. And don't make any assumptions. Don't, because that's how you're gonna reach a dead end. Assume everything's possible and play that way, because it most likely is. And furthermore, I defy you to play Shenmue 1 and 2 and come back here and tell me that it didn't change your life. Because I don't think you will. I think you will play Shenmue 1 and 2 and they will change your life. They will change your perception of what a video game can be. And I know you've played games that already did that, but not like these. Not like Shenmue. Shenmue is the end-all, be-all, holy fuck, that was a hell of an experience. There's nothing like it. I can promise you that. And again, on the off chance, and I'm talking really, really off chance, that you managed to get through Shenmue 1 and 2 and don't feel like it was as great as I made it out to be, come on back here and tell me why.
What?
Seriously. I want to know why.
Where that sailors hang out?
Because Shenmue is the shit. And I know I say that about a lot of games, but I mean this with like a capital fucking S. Okay? Shenmue is a game worth waiting 20 plus years to get the conclusion of, because that's the sad thing, is we got Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2, and Ryo's journey was not over at Shenmue 2. It was just really, it was starting to get started, really. It is a sad thing, and that's why, you've probably seen a few Shenmue fans that are emotional as fuck, because yeah, we started out on this quest with Ryo Hazuki and we didn't get to finish it. Shenmue 2 didn't even release for the Sega Dreamcast in America. We had to get the Xbox, the original Xbox port. And now we're finally getting Shenmue 3 next year, and it's going to be a PS4 exclusive. But yeah, Shenmue is not like any other game you've ever fucking played, and you'll see the elements that other games have taken from it, but this experience is one that is still left unsurpassed. And I can promise you, if you play through Shenmue 1 and 2, you will have the time of your life. So that's going to be it for this video. let me know what you thought. If you've played Shenmue and totally agree with me, you know, show some love. If you haven't and you have any other questions, let me know in the comments. If you also played Shenmue and love Shenmue like I do, and you didn't know that it was out already, Shenmue 1 and 2, the HD collection, spread the fucking video around, because more people need to know that this amazing fucking game is out there. I think you would agree with that. Sorry about the sound quality. I'm actually dog sitting at my mom's house right now, and the AC is like super fucking loud. So I'm sure you can probably hear that in the background. I actually also have another video coming up very soon about Devil May Cry, actually. Devil May Cry 5. Gamescom was last week, and it blew us away. We got some Claire footage, you know, some more Resident Evil 2 remake, you know, footage, and learn more about Devil May Cry 5. So I actually am going to come out with another video pretty soon. Sorry, it's been a while. But I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.